Hello everybody and welcome to the Guitar Cave podcast, a place where me and my guests talk all things guitars, gear and metal. I am your host Pete Rogers, and joining me today as my first guest, he is known as the Riff Monkey and well known on the underground scene. He's the founding member of Zocalo and Season of the Witch. He's made appearances with both these bands at Bloodstock Open Air and is, in my opinion, London's undisputed king of groove and the master of the riff.
Oh well.
He is Mr. Peter Humphries. Pete,
All right, man.
how are you, sir?
Fine, I should sit forward so you can see me. Hello, Pete.
Yeah.
It's like talking to yourself, isn't it?
Thank you so much for being my first guest. And
No one else was available and I'm cheap.
yeah, just one beer and you're here.
Yeah, pretty much with promise of one cheap Japanese beer and I was in.
Excellent.
So what are you having me do today?
Well, you've brought a lot of stuff with you, so I guess we've got a lot to talk about. Let's start with guitars.
You want to do a rough gear rundown first then?
Yeah, let's start with the guitar. Let's bring out this
Okay,
lovely guitar you bought.
So my main stage guitar is the John 5 Squire, which I've customised, which is my thing. I love to customise every guitar I've ever owned. I have done something to. So whereas this had John 5's own pickups in it and own circuitry in it, I now have an Evertune bridge.
Excellent. One of our sponsors.
Which if any live guitar player in here are going, oh no, I don't like that, stop being a purist and buy one because you'll never regret it. So it never goes out of tune. I've got an Invader, single Duncan Invader there. That is the John 5 pickup. 10 to 56 D'Addario strings. Locking tuners on the back because I can't be asked to do the Fender twist and all the other bollocks. It's annoying. And one volume knob because I never turn the neck down.
Right.
For purposes that become obvious later on. But other than that, all I've done is taken some wet and dry at the neck to make it a bit satin so it's smoother, and that's it.
Excellent. All right, let's. I want to take you back to the start a little bit because you and me known each other for a long time, and
Yes.
yes. So let's go back to the beginning. Like, why the guitar? What made you pick up the guitar in the first place? And how old were you? When did you start?
I started really late by comparison to probably nearly everyone else you'll have on this programme. I started playing guitar at 16. Badly. Mostly to get chicks, not gonna lie. It's like I grew up in a small seaside town and I'm not particularly handsome, I'm not particularly athletic. I've always been a bit of a nerd, but playing guitar have made me access to more people essentially. I had a couple of like-minded buddies. I joined a thrash band in about 94, 95 as a bass player and spent 8 years playing bass. I still consider myself a bass player who just plays guitar now, to be fair.
Guess that's where a lot of the groove influence comes from. Surely.
Yeah, that and my old man brought me up heavily into sort of blues and like old rock and roll, like AC/DC and Motorhead, Hawkwind, all that kind of stuff. So it all had like a heavy blues emphasis. And seeing as I've never grown up, I've not bothered changing. Yeah. So I found something I like. It's like pizza, man. There's no such thing as bad pizza.
That's true. That's true. So, how do we land on the old Telecasters now? Because I've seen you use many guitars throughout the years, and so
true.
Tell us how we landed with two Telecasters in this room today.
Well, 25 years of headbanging in metal bands took its toll on my spine and my neck. And I can't hold heavy guitars anymore. So all my big Dean MLs that you'll know that I love, and my custom Siguri that is now relegated to only a studio guitar because that thing weighs 12 pounds. The Telecasters weigh nothing, although this is quite heavy because it's mahogany. It's a weight thing, and I like pissing off the establishment. So instead of having nice big black pointy guitars like other artists I could mention, I like to have things that are a little bit outlandish, a little out of left field, and people go, "He's playing in a Stoner Doom band with a Telecaster." And you're like, ha, check this out. And you hit your first chord and they're like, you're playing Stoner Doom with a Telecaster. How wonderful.
We like it.
Well, yeah, and this is just garish as fuck, to be perfectly fine, and I like that.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Do love the colours in this one though.
Yeah, it's that kind of subtle surf gold, I think it's called. I'm sure the people in comments will correct me for being terribly wrong. But there you go, and it's just out of the box, beautifully set up.
Yeah.
And also with my tuner on, so you wouldn't have heard any of that. I also have a really interesting little electronics fault in this that I'm not going to correct. Because that's on full, and never isn't, and this is off, right? But on the bridge position, you still get tone coming through.
Yeah.
So I like to use it for intros to songs and stuff, so I don't have to bother doing anything. I can just roll that on.
That sounds cool. So this little mod that you've done this yourself?
Yeah, what it's called is ruining an expensive CT pot. So you put your CTS pot in there, and then you just sort of knock it until it pops out, until that pops through. So it's stuck on full. So you turn it out full and you knock the pin out the middle. I like it better than just direct wiring, because direct wiring gives you zero control. I still can move it, it's just impossibly hard, so I can't do it when I'm picking.
Oh, right.
Because my hand's here the whole time. And when John fires a guitar, that is actually the volume for the bridge.
Yeah, you don't want to be knocking that.
No. I very rarely do anything else.
Excellent. Right.
Oh, sorry, the other thing was all guitars tuned to drop A sharp, so it's C standard with a low A minor.
Nice.
A sharp. So not subtle at all.
No, nice. Let's talk about the Evertune.
Okay, cool.
Now,
that's the Evertune.
The Evertune was... I could see why some people are scared of it, but it's one of those things, you're going to be scared of it until you try it. It's a new thing, no one really has any...
It's in the same way I'm quite scared of like the electronic wizardry that is the Kemper, for example. I can't believe thousands of amplifiers hiding one small green German box.
And the first time people get their hands on a Floyd Rose and they have to restring a guitar, and they have no clue what they're doing if they've always had like string grooves.
Floyd Roses are for sadists. they hate themselves so much they have to make their world harder.
So when and why did you first pick up a Evertune bridge equipped guitar?
Alright, so it was when I was having my Stiggery made, and I was deciding, because it's a fully custom guitar, so you can have anything you want. And I was looking at like Shayla harness bridges, which are really good, masses of sustain and whatnot and wherefore. And I was watching, heavily into like Keith Merrow and Rob Chapman, like lots of YouTube guitar players back about 10 years ago. And Keith Merrow did a demo where he took his guitar and he played it and he took all the strings out and then just strung it back up, pulled it into where it's actually in tune, because the bridge is the tuner, not the things, and started playing again. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And then he did it, and he like literally was just like grabbing strings and like that, and then I'm still in tune. I was like, I have to have that shit in my life, because I hate tuning. It's the most infuriating thing, and one of my major live bugbears is watching young bands going, just a minute. You're like, oh, turn it off. Just please, just do it silently. So now you don't. I literally haven't played this guitar for a week, so I've been playing my other guitar, which is over there. And last time I played it, I just restrung it, played practice, left it in my bag, brought it to Pete's. It's 3 degrees outside here in England, for those of you who are watching in a different country. And I literally haven't tuned it, I've just taken it out of the bag and it's fine. And that's brilliant.
That's why I like it. So I've got my one up here, which I'll bring down.
Is that one of your Solar guitars? From Solar Guitars?
This is one of my Solar guitars. So I've
just keeping the sponsors happy.
I got this Evertune because just when I purchased this guitar, I just had the spare money when I was guitar shopping to. You
messaged me because you wanted to know why I was so into.
I did.
I said, what do you
want
to
do advice first?
You get one and then.
It comes back to what I said about being scared of these things, because I was nervous about it. I was like, if I get this Pete, am I going to be able to? Am I going to be able to use it? And you didn't have enough good things to say about it.
To be fair, it's ideal for the kind of music you play, that sort of heavy staccato, borderline shreddy,
shrem picking as well.
Because you can't bang them out of tune, and you can put them into a position when you just detune them a little bit where you can't bend the string. So when you're tracking like your rhythm guitars and whatnot, when you're doing your recording, you can just be banging away on it and it'll never go out. So and go back into blending again, and it's just the best invention in the world. And with a bit of luck, I think they revealed it at NAMM, but I'm not sure yet. They have a bass version as well, so all of you nervous bass players who hate restringing and tuning up will now be able to be as smug as me and Pete by never having to tune our guitars on stage. In fact, I love teasing the band by getting my guitar out and going, "Are we ready? Oh, we're tuning, right? Okay, I'll be over here in the corner."
I've had a few of those moments in practice where guitar harmonies didn't quite sound right, and you just get that snug expression going, "It ain't me."
Can't be me. I can't be out of tune. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it because so this came with standard tuning. And it took me a little bit of fiddling when I first got it because my band plays in drop C, so I did have to do a little bit of fiddling. That's all. That's as far as we like to go.
It's pretty warm in your room, then.
And I fell in love with this thing straight away. I mean, I've had this guitar probably about 1.5 years now, and I've restrung it about 7 times, and
it's exactly as easy as any other Stocktail or full-body stringing guitar.
And
you literally just push it through, do up your tuners.
And what I liked about it the most was when I first restrung this and changed the tunings, I was getting intonation problems in this string.
Right.
And it was just a quick little...
Just to screw the back.
quick little hop onto the Evertune site just to get some clarity on how to fix it.
And just to keep...
Tiny turn and bang, done.
Just to keep buffing the Evertune lads' egos, they are so good at answering any of your tech questions.
Oh, they really are.
Like you'll put it up on... You'll tag them in a post on your own Facebook profile, you can send them an email or message, and they will be back to you in a day at the worst, saying, "It's that, you Wally." And you're like, "Oh, cheers."
Yeah, see, one thing I'm looking forward to with this as well, I haven't done yet, is the studio.
Yeah.
This hasn't been in the recording studio yet, and that's one thing I'm looking forward to the most with this guitar, because I know that if there's going to be any passages where I'm not going to need to bend any strings, I can just take it out of zone 2, put it into zone 1.
Yeah, and you can just thrash
and
away on it.
Thrash away, and I'm going to have the time of my life.
It's the unfortunate side effect, and then you have everyone else borrowing your fucking guitars. Because mine won't stay intonated. Can I use yours? And you're like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
But yeah, no, Evertune, absolutely brilliant invention.
Not sponsored by Asahi, but it is rather good beer.
It is a rather good beer.
Indeed.
Prost. So let's bring out the other Telecaster we got today. Let me grab that for you.
Oh.
All right. Guitar number 2, the second Telecaster of the day.
Again, another mod platform.
And my apologies to any viewers out there with small children looking at this guitar.
It has about 400 different sized googly eyes all over it, and on the headstock too.
Now, it goes without saying...
It's nightmare fuel.
The next question is, obviously, why?
Well, because I shouldn't be left alone with the super glue, arts and crafts things and being bored. A lot of what music is, and especially because I can't move around as much as I used to because of, like I said earlier, heavy guitars and my neck injury, there has to be more of a visual impact in other ways. So you synchronise parts of what the band do together, like we'll all turn around and look at the drummer at the same time, or Sarah and I will be swaying at the same, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you walk up on stage with the guitar covered in, can you hear that? Like, 600 white googly eyes.
That came through.
Then it's one of those simple answers, like, why not? If you can do it. I mean, it's not finished. I've still got the original sunburst on the back and it's matted out, but I haven't finished it yet. But I did it first time. This is how bad I am at stuff like this. Did it the first time and forgot that super glue off gases and makes things foggy, right?
Yeah.
So I actually just covered the guitar in super glue and just threw eyes all over it. That didn't work. That was awful. I got loads of it in the nuts. I had to have the nut taken out and replaced.
Oh god.
I got some on the fretboard as well, so I've sort of matted the fretboard now to get rid of all the super glue, which hasn't affected the playability of the slightest. But then I had to scrape it all back, sand it all down, and do it again. I did it on a white basis, changed the pickup to a white pickguard, because this is a standard Squier Custom 72 Deluxe.
Nice.
So it's got the wide range humbucker in the neck. And again, it's not the same as everything else. These are 70s waxed pots. So they're really old school, really mellow, really
they
gentle. And it's all like, I've had them all rewired. They've got that sort of cloth wiring, like that's period correct. That's the standard Fender wide range, which I really like. It's really very open, has lots of like nice harmonics. Yes, I know I use lots of gain, guys. It's okay, you can still hear harmonics. And that's a quarter pounder, Seymour Duncan. And it was like, single coils and a heavy metal guitar. What's that about? And it's like, well.
Excellent.
I'd say it works fine.
So obviously you got different like pickup configurations and knob configurations between the two guitars. So what are you doing live? Are you certain guitars for certain songs, or can you chop and change as much as you want?
I'm still getting. When we get to the pedal board, I've got an ABY switcher. I can use it in two different ways. If it's a smaller gig, I tend to use 2 amps and then blend them, and then change guitars over. And if it's a smaller gig, I use it the other way round. Same pedal, but you can use 2 guitars into 1 amplifier. All you've got to do is just make sure you turn one off, otherwise you've got one feeding back. And I'm not 100% used to that yet. But yeah, so songs that are a bit more bluesier and require a bit more control rather than the all-out ferocity of the gold one with the Invader in it, I tend to use this one. And ones that require a bit more... The song I want to play, it doesn't actually have a name yet. Its working title is Scary Door, which is how my band likes to do things, because they're not right in the head. So you've got... needs to be a more open woody tone. Whereas if you do that on the other guitar, it's really... It still sounds good, but it's so heavy.
Yeah.
It takes away from the fact that's quite a melancholy song. Apparently it's about man escaping from purgatory after God has thrust us down to hell. Because vocalists aren't poncy at all. So yeah, I use it for another one called Godless Sun, which is a very blues, Sabbathy style one, which again, the other guitar is so hot and so heavy. It can play it, but it doesn't quite have the control. I need to roll off a bit, so you can... Feeds back nicely because it's a single coil. Stuff like that. So yeah, the songs that are supposed to be big, hard, heavy and relentless, I use the other guitar for. So songs that have a bit more clarity, openness and what I'd like to refer to as woody tones without sounding like an utter ponce. But the best thing is, I don't care if either of these guitars get overly damaged, because the total cost of both of them is less than £700.
Oh, nice.
That's not including obviously the upgrades, which probably equate to about the same amount of money. But like, I wouldn't take my custom Sigrid, which is a custom. You're looking at custom shop prices, 2,000 plus. If I went to a gig in, I don't know, Manchester or something, and some git nicked it, or I dropped it and snapped the fucking head stuck off, I can't just go and buy another Fender Squire Neck for that guitar. I have to find the luthier who doesn't do it anymore and ask him to do something he doesn't do anymore. You see what I mean? Whereas I can go and get another John 5 neck, I can get another custom 72 neck, they're like 35 quid. So I like it's not disposable, don't get me wrong. It would piss me off no end if I did break them or lose them, but they are replaceable. They're not like a one at a time.
They're not hard to get hold of.
Unlike my Stonewolf guitar, which is in the works. Yeah, so what do you want to do next? We'll do amps?
I am so glad I didn't drop a hit of acid before I sat next to them.
You were sitting there counting the eyes like that, poking each other. You can actually sort of dent them a little bit.
Let's talk about the pedal board we got down here.
Right, so I do mine, I don't know if the camera can see this, I do mine slightly different than most other people, because I have my tuner at the end of the signal chain. 2 reasons. One, a lot of these pedals are noisy.
Yeah.
Although they're behaving themselves at the moment, they're being too noisy. And number 2, the TC Electronic Polytune 3 Noir, because that means black. Guess what colour it is. It has a buffer built in. So, because I use 40 plus foot of cable, you lose a fairly decent amount of signal, especially from a single coil. And it has a little buffer in there, which just gives it that little, freshens everything up before the front of the amplifier. Whereas if you have it at the front, I found it didn't make too much of a difference, but it made enough difference to be noticeable. Yeah. So I like having it over there. Then I've got the Jim Dunlop many numbers and letters wah pedal. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's got an optical switch in it, so I don't have to go click, 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 click to turn it on and off. You literally, and most people see them leaning on their pedal and then leaning on the pedal again to turn it off. I'm too forgetful and crap a guitar player to remember to do shit like that, so I'll just be playing. I have to move my leg to get rid of it. Nice. Yeah?
Like it.
Does cost a bit more than like your standard crybaby is like 60 quid.
Yeah.
About 60 quid, something like that. Someone will look it up for us. And this one's £170.
Right.
It also has a little booster on the side.
I was gonna, a little red switch on the side.
To be fair, I'm the only guitar player in this band, so I don't really need to boost the thing
No, you don't.
for anything. And it's got variable Q and variable output level on the other side, so you can adjust where the sweep is. I like mine to have like kind of a right at the low end because of the tuning. It works better in the lower mid-range part. So that's where I've got most of the Q. So when you're playing. Like that open throaty sort of almost like vocal wah kind of sound, rather than a shrill. I don't like that one too much, I like the other one.
Excellent.
Yeah?
That sounds great. Let's keep moving along the chain.
Then we're diving back into the 70s. So I'll put this onto the clean channel because I haven't got my channel switcher here because I'm clever like that. So clean. Oh, I love not having an Evertune. Right, and then so I've got an Electro Harmonix Big Muff Pi, the original massive, great big 70s aluminium chassis jobby, which just basically makes filthy noises.
Like in these sort of close quarters. One thing I'm noticing, it seems to take away a lot of the pick attack.
Takes nearly all of it away.
Yeah.
But you can, like, so.
That sounded really smooth.
Your volume, tone, and sustain. Sustain's gain. Volume is. Can you guess?
Loudness?
No, it's volume. That depends on what it is. Anyway, so it's the tone controls the one. It's great for knocking microphones around. I just love it because you get to do those big long passages. One of the older songs we play. You don't want loads of attack on that because it just sounds wrong. You need it to be soft and fuzzy and thick.
Yeah.
So you go from that to the Proco Rat 2. Which I only bought a couple of weeks, like literally this time last week it arrived. I wanted it for the show. And I started figuring it out, yeah. So I just sort of use it. It's kind of the same. This one has the same sort of clipping thing that you noticed, so the initial pick attack is sort of lost. Thank you, Evertune, for all the wonderful things that you do. Well, the thing is, I'm fine to do it to this one because this guitar's only 180 quid. I don't want to put a £300 bridge in it. Oh, there we go. Any chance you could work? Yes, indeed. Yeah. That's how you bend things. How is that sharp? How can a string get sharper? Anyway, so I bought the Rat on the basis that a lot of my favourite bands, sort of in the stoner, sludge and doom genres, use it, and it's got. Well, it's more of a distortion than a fuzz,
yeah.
But it still has a lot of the fuzzy characteristics I like. And again, it's got the filter, and really the knobs work back to front. So high volumes that way and low volumes the other way, which is counterintuitive to all the other pedals. Anyway.
Like when you pick up a Japanese manga book.
Yes, you're reading that way around, which is very strange. So, he hasn't asked me about the amp yet, but we'll get there.
We'll get there, don't worry.
We'll get there. So, I'll change the channel back to distortion. So, MXR Eddie Van Halen Phase 90. Two different types of wash to it. One's very gentle, which is the one I like. It doesn't go all the way to the high fizz and the low noise. How would you describe as a noise? Anyway, so I have it on the other one, which is called Script, so it makes a nice... lovely slow washing tempo.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, and I do use it on like almost double the speed of that for another song. But it's a phase. If people watching the Guitar Cave podcast and all the phases, I suggest you buy one, have some fun with it, and then trade it in to buy something that you like. Right, TC Electronic. The other. Oh wait a minute, a bit dry mouth. Thank you very much. Nectar of the gods. So next, this is really weird having this here. It's like he's watching me. So apart from Evertune, the other company I've been super like stoked to discover was TC Electronics.
Yeah.
And their amazing ability to take a phone out, hold it against your pickup, and post an entirely new pedal sound in.
Oh, they are so good
like,
at it.
What?
They're just so good at capturing just what they want to capture.
Yeah, and it's
So
ridiculous.
quickly.
And the amount of like famous guys who've like done patches for them, so there's all sorts of ones. But I'm a pretty basic bitch. Let's be honest. I play chunky stoner rock on guitars that was developed 50 fucking years, oh geez, 70 years ago now. How's the Telecaster? It's late 50s, isn't it, or something?
I think so, yeah. We might have to do our research on that one, so if anyone knows, let us know.
So, the TC Electronic 7-Up is an octaver. 1 up, 1 down, 2 down.
Yeah.
So, but that's its standard polyphonic.
We got there in the end.
It's its standard polyphonic. And it tracks pretty good, but not on chords so much. So... That's the polyphony one. Then you've got the tone print, which I haven't got one loaded, so there's no point in using. I use the classic one, so this is not polyphonic, which means it won't track perfectly every single note. It'll be a little bit older, but this is supposed to be like Hammond organ sound.
Okay.
So you've got your up octave is up, your sub octave is 1 down,
Yeah.
and then the second sub octave, which would be the ridiculous, bowel shattering nonsense that you can get from it, is the rate of effect.
Okay.
And obviously you've got wet dry mix on the top, which is wet dry mix, so I have more guitar and less effect. So I use that for. And Sarah, the bass player, plays a harmony off that. So I'm playing the guitar part, the bass
And
part,
she's playing.
a harmony part to sit in with it. So
Nice.
it allows you the
Excellent.
ability as a small band to make way more noise than you should be able to.
Correct. Much bigger sound.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Awesome.
Can't believe I'm using my second string guitar for the demos. And then the TC Electronic Flashback, not the big one with 2 different delays and a reverb built into it, because again, basic pitch, I use it for a song. And it's set one way, and every time I move the knobs, I can't remember how to set it back. So I haven't touched it in it. We don't even play this on live anymore. But it was I use it as a on beat repeat. So you play in time, and then when you change the note, you get a couple of those notes as well as the note you're going to put.
Right.
You know the deal. So
yeah, I know.
nice atmospheric stuff, yeah.
That's very nice.
Just to alternate the thing, we're just picking one note each,
Yeah.
like a little bit harder to get the bounce in it. So it makes a pulse, and then the bit that comes after it is just. So no subtlety in the second half of the song at all. And that's pretty much my pedal board, with the exception of the Fender ABY splitter. So I can use 2 guitars into 1 amp, or 1 amp into 2 guitars, which will depend on the size of venue and how much I can be bothered.
Yeah. So I mean, like, obviously, like your pedals have a lot to do with your sound and the songs you're writing.
Yeah.
So do they affect your songwriting? Do you ever come up with a riff based on the effects that you're using there and then?
The song that I played for with the phaser, the it's exactly written in time with the wave.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that created the tempo for the song, which was a bastard to figure out. And most of the rest of the time, it's just fucking around. It's literally just. I think Max Cavalera once said, "If you run out of ideas, buy another pedal." And I never used to. But when I was in Zocalo, I had a tuner and an ISP decimator.
Yeah.
My 5150, which we'll show you in a minute, and my Dino Mills, and that was it. That's all I had was the tuner and the decimator to control the ridiculous feedback. And when that band finished and we started the new one, we wanted to change how everything sounded. Obviously, there are some pedals that are synonymous with sort of stoner doom, sludge, desert tones like phasers, like Proco Rats. But I'm really sort of inspired by bands like Boss Colloid, Gargantua, and other sort of Caius and things. And they use like phasers and they use octaves, they use all these really cool different effects. So I just started going out and annoying every single guitar in Britain by saying, I need to try this pedal, that pedal, that pedal, this pedal, that pedal, that pedal through that amplifier because I own it, and that guitar because I own that one, and then detuning all of their guitars. So yeah,
Restring them while you're at it.
oh god, no! If they let me, I would. Yeah, that's it. The most recent is the Palmer power purifier, which is not something you want to try saying pissed. Which basically, because we play in a lot of sketchy London venues where there's damp on the walls and the plug sockets are coming out, you know, or like our rehearsal studios are basically half on fire most of the time, because we're South London kids. It cleans up. So like I say, this is really quiet. There's a lot of gain on this amplifier, and
there's very little hum coming through.
Wait until we plug in the bloody PV. It's like an angry chainsaw in the background, and that's taken away a lot of the thing. It's a £20 thing.
Oh, excellent.
So even if you don't discernibly notice any difference, you will after a while.
Yeah.
Like the first time we plugged it in, I was like, whoa, that's cool. So,
excellent. Right, let's move on to the amplifier.
I'm going to change to the other guitar.
We're going to change to the Evertune bridge. Ha ha ha. Alright, so let's talk about the amps. You've brought a couple with you today.
Or 3. Oh, I can blind people with a scratch plate, look at that.
Oh, excellent.
What did I ask? Ah, everyone's got blind! Sorry. Okay, so live only use one amplifier, and that's my orange Rockerverb Mark III, 100 watt with built-in attenuate. And the reason being I bought this amplifier was I played the Mark I Rockerverb, and there's a weird, it might just be me and my strange brain, but there's a weird hissing that happens in my head here. I get it from Mesa Boogie dual rectifiers as well. It's a really strange sort of treble.
Should see a doctor about that.
Shut up! I think my eyes and back don't work. It's a really weird, like hissing in the upper frequencies, and I don't like it. Right? I love the sound of a Mesa dual rectifier, but I can't buy one because there's a weird little fizzing noise at the top. And the Mark I and Mark II Rockerverbs had exactly the same thing, but with a more British rather than the American thing. And then I went to the Northern Guitar Show in Birmingham, must be about 5 years ago now, and then this was just released. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll have one more try. And I plugged it in, and it was just orgasm central. There was everywhere. It was horrible. I was ejected from the event. No, it was rubbish. That's a nonsense. They fixed it. Whatever it was, they changed it, and the gain stack worked really nice, and the EQs worked really nice. And as much as I don't use clean tones very much, it sounded a little bit warmer. It sounded a little bit more bell-like, a little less like it was trying to be a Marshall.
Right.
Okay. As much as I like the Marshall cleans, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A little played out.
Yeah, I owned a JVM for a while, and I loved the clean tones, but I couldn't do much with the clean tone of a Marshall. It's just what it is.
Quick counter question. I know that I'm the person here for the tone thing, but did you always find it very strange that the Marshall JVM is really thin? Like, it's tall and it's wide, like an A should be. When you look at it from the top, it's like a toaster.
It's super thin.
Yeah. Whereas this is a bit of a beast.
Yeah.
You know, this is a good 10 or 11 inches deep. So I've got big hands. So.
Yeah, because even your controls are quite recessed.
In there. Yeah, and it's just like I don't think I'm not making money out of plywood. That's not how companies make money. Just always thought that. PV's even bigger, and the PV Windsor I have at home is the biggest amplifier I own.
I saw that on your Facebook.
Ridiculous.
You were super excited about that, wasn't you?
Yeah, and then it blew up. Little unfortunate. I plugged it in, and the valves have never been changed, so they're off to get it redone. So I bought this, and as a married chap, you have to run things past the boss, otherwise you're dead. You are not allowed to go out and spend £1,800 on an amplifier without proper permissions from she who will be obeyed. Because I'm shit with money. It's nothing to do with me not having the money. It's like bad. I'll just buy 5 amplifiers and then get told off. So we went to Evertune Guitar, my favourite guitar shop, even if it's an hour and a half drive. And I said, no, I want to pay this amplifier. Because I saw it at the Birmingham show, and I'm not sharp about it since. Okay, because my wife is my bass player and my vocalist. So before anyone goes, she's a musician. She's got tone fever now. And I played it to her, and their exact words were, you can buy it if you promise not to lose your job. And I still work at the same company, so I'm true to my word. I've never looked back. It's fantastic. It does everything I want to do. It sounds as heavy as all the high gain amps that people rattle on about. Like, I own a 5150, I've had a 6505, I've had an EVH 5150. You know, my buddy Dean, who I believe is coming on your show later on, I've played like his Driftwood Purple Nightmare, his dual rectifiers. He's on Marshall now, which is weird. He still won't tell me why. And of all of them, this will do nearly everything that I want it to do. And it's just, well, it does do everything I want it to do.
It's nice when you just find it and it just clicks, isn't it? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you buy a 5150 because you want to have that sound. But it doesn't do anything else. No. Apart from cause back strain because it weighs 33 kilos. But this has the one thing it needs, which is this control here is an attenuator. It's built into the amplifier, so you can play. Oh, the wrong channel. So you can have turned off. My volume's at half, by the way. So it's not a volume control, it's still getting all that good valvey tone because it's driving the power section and creating the EQ frequencies properly, but it's just then good.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah. Oh, fails on Pete's favourite things ever. You've always enjoyed that I can do those on demand.
And who said you can't pinch on an Evertune?
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to say telecasters. Like, well, it's really not, is it? It's a mahogany-bodied instrument, isn't it? So the other one you can pinch on, and it's actually oddly easy. So, yeah, so I can play at bedroom levels, but with all of the tone that I want, and then I don't have to change any of the knobs or re-EQ anything. I just roll that off for band practice to the point where the rest of the band go, shh, no! And you go, one more because you're a guitar player and that's your job, is to annoy everyone else in your band. As much as drummers when you're trying to tune, but I don't have to worry about that. And then, yeah, so it's got all that lovely standard like channel volume, bass, middle, treble, and then your gain control. All done in weird symbols because orange want to be orange.
Yeah, well, it's separated. It's instantly recognised.
It's a bass and treble clef. It's a bass and treble clef with an arrow pointing at the middle. So if you can't figure it out, don't buy an orange, and certainly don't buy a Kemper because that'd be way too complicated for you. And then the clean's just bass. What's the fucking tabs on the wrong one? It's just bass, treble, volume, and sounds. Just for those people who went, oh, an Invader, they're so brutal.
Yeah, I find the pickups that are sort of designed for the metal sounds probably some of the best clean.
They can do.
I think they do.
I mean, I had bare knuckles and they sound like dog shit. I just think I put them in the wrong guitars. Nothing against bare knuckle pickups. I just had the nail bomb. I think it was called the nail bomb, and it was so ferocious and so uncontrollable that I just hated it. It didn't work in the guitar. I put it in. I couldn't get it to work right with the amplifier I had, so I got shot with it. And I used actually I replaced that with a Seymour Duncan custom. Custom 76. No, it's the guitar, isn't it? It's the one where it's one bobbin off one pickup and one bobbin off another one. It's one off the custom 5, one off a different one. It blends them together and it's brilliant.
Okay.
Best for your kind of stuff though. Beautiful note separation.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is just. The reason I got, actually, let me just tell you about the Invader real quick. I got this because I didn't want to buy it for ages because it was associated with like brutal 80s metal guitars and BC Rich and all that shit and the stupid fucking great big Allen bolts on the top. And I figured out that my favourite guitar player uses some Woody from Corrosion Conformity. I went, oh, maybe I can make it work.
Awesome.
I was like, oh yeah, I feel like a right dick now. But yeah, I mean, I went through all of the like bare knuckle, EMG, all of that stuff that we all went through, like late 90s, early 2000s, and just went back to Seymour Duncan because, in my opinion, with the exception of a few really, really good bespoke companies, bang for buck, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. No, because I got the Duncan Solars in these three.
Are they Duncan design? Are they Duncan designed? Yeah. Or are they actually Seymour Duncan Solar specifically on brand? Though that's I wanted to see. I want to ask you questions as well.
I couldn't go into that much detail, but like we got the. So yeah, these are just Seymour Duncans that were purpose built for these.
Oh right, so they're like design specific. Okay, yeah, cool. So, no, that's good.
And I haven't had any problems with them. This is like sometimes I'll get a guitar myself and pickups are usually the first thing I change. Yeah. So like, I've got a John Petrucci 7-string over there.
Yes, I've been eyeballing that.
It was one of the that's one of the Sterling models. So it's one of the budget models. But the first thing I did was swap out for what was John Petrucci's custom set at the time.
I got the DiMarzio,
the Crunch Lab and the Liquefier.
That's right. Yes.
So he's got new ones now, and I'm not going to change to his will. But
I don't do everything he says. I promise.
Yeah,
there's a shrine in the corner. You can't say he actually prays every 40 minutes or so. We've stopped twice already.
Yeah, so I've got the Seymour Duncans and these Solars as well, and I haven't even looked into changing any of them yet.
It's one of those things.
Not out of necessity, anyway. I mean, I've been eyeing up the Fishman Fluence pickups for a while because I've been hearing great things about them.
Yeah, those Fishman.
It's only because of the hype around them, not because I want to change these out.
Not that I know that you like the music particularly well, but there is now there's a Fishman kill switch engage set which sounds quite tasty. I have to say. The reason I stepped away from like actives is basically because they all just sounded so sterile. I mean, I haven't played the Fishmans. But it's too late in my guitar career now. I've got the sound that I want pretty much. So that's the amp.
Excellent. Before we change the amp heads, let's talk about what that sound's coming through. Now, we've got a lot to discuss about Zillas, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. What? Yeah. Why?
Because you recently got an endorsement, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, I did. Paul and I finally came to the conclusion that I'm never not going to stop asking him to endorse his amazing products. I've been using Zilla for the best part of 10 years. I had the massive purple 4x12 that I think you first saw me with.
Yeah, that's the first one I saw you with.
Based on a Messer slat front oversized thing. It was beautiful, but it weighed a ton. So I sold that off and got my first 2x12 super fat boy with the Celestion V30s because I hadn't done a lot of research into speakers at the time. I had 3-panel back, so you could have an open back for a nice, richer, warmer, like room sound, or closed back to control the stupid low end in the tone that I use. And when I changed to the orange, and we changed from Zocalo to Season of the Witch, the V30s didn't have the rich low end that I wanted. They break up really nicely when they're pushed. Right? The speaker will actually break up. It will start to distort in and of itself through being pushed. And I didn't want that. I wanted more controlled, richer low end. So I was speaking to Paul, and he said, try the Creamback 12Hs. So there's two 12-inch ferrous magneted, not Alnico. I'm still not sold that they're. I know they're lighter, and they don't sound that much worse. But every time someone says, oh, it's lighter and it's cheaper and it's easier, and it's just like, yeah, but every time I go from one of these to a 50 watt, it doesn't hold the low end. Every time I go from that to an Alnico, it doesn't hold the low end. So ferrous magnets, big fucking glass tube amplifier.
Nice.
And
I think one of my favourite features about it is this ever so slightly slanted grill. I absolutely love that, because that can make all the difference.
Especially live.
Yeah. Because you need to project that sound upwards. You don't want to push it out if the cab's on the floor, do you? So
yeah, and carrying around 2 milk crates to put your custom cabinet on looks just a bit weird, to be fair. So I had Sarah, my bass player. I bought her a vertical 2x12 bass version of this, and it was just one of those ones where he let other people use it, and I was like, oh my god, this thing's amazing, where can I get one? So I was just like, Paul from Zilla, here's his phone number, and, go to his Facebook and whatnot. And I just kept harassing him, and then I got him to build this one for me and sold the other one to my local studio. And I never looked back. You don't need a 4x12 anymore, and especially in London, where the venues aren't very big, unless you're playing the very big venues, which you may, I won't, not for the moment anyway. But I play 2x12s on the Bloodstock stages, and you're like, you don't need anything bigger.
You don't. I mean,
you don't want to be carrying anything bigger than that over a muddy field either.
Yeah,
trust me.
I've got that 4x12 there, but I mean, I've only got that for convenience at the moment, because that's just there in this room for what I do now. I mean, because when I'm using that Kemper Live, I can just go through any cab that's supplied to me. But I am thinking about a 2x12 myself. So
I know a guy who can help you out.
Zilla, if you fancy your cabs in my podcasts in the future, drop me an email, theguitarcavepodcast@gmail.com.
I didn't encourage this behaviour.
Alright, excellent. All right.
Yeah, but the most important, I think one of the questions you asked me when we were sort of coming up with the idea of this is, what are the most important parts to tone? And there's the really cliche answer of like, practice, 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 which, yeah, but that's really trite, and everyone knows that if you don't practice, you'll sound like shit. That's why I don't sound very good. I don't practice as much as I should. But the three things that made the most tonal difference I've ever heard are good cables. These are Planet Waves American stage cables. They're like 30 quid a pop for the 20-foot versions. And I've had these for 10 years, and they have never broken. And I'm horrible with my cables. Good, regularly serviced amplifier. Oh yeah, definitely got to keep up with the services. Absolutely. There is something to be said about old tubes sounding nice, because they crackle a little bit, and there's a tone. Great, that's fantastic. That's all about taste. It's like when someone walks up to an old, slightly out of tune piano. Some people think, oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, you get that janky old. But you got to be honest, it sounds like shit. Yeah, yeah. So make sure you do service. I mean, to change the power valves more. It depends on how much you gig. I mean, if you gig as much as some of our friends do, probably every year, unless something goes wrong. But me, every 2 or 3 years, it's fine. Right? And you never need to do the preamp valves as you blow one up. So properly service that. Good cables and a good cabinet. Cheap cabinet will destroy your guitar's sound. Absolutely. I used to use a Behringer 4x12. It was like it was played under blankets. It was disgusting. I changed. I had a Marshall cab. It was okay, but didn't have any character. And I moved to Zilla and never gone anywhere else. No. And have encouraged many of my friends, to purchase them, because they are genuinely. I don't endorse any old shit. And the fact that I was chasing him saying, please let me endorse your stuff, please let me endorse your stuff, your stuff's amazing. I'm not going to get anything from him, I've already bought it. It's one of the things I admire about you, though, is you know what you like, and you go for it. That's one of the things I like about you, and your sound and your playing in general. Nice of you to say. Right. We're going to take a short break there, but we will be back after with more amplifiers, and we'll talk about Pete's band life. We'll see you soon. See you.
And we're back in the Guitar Cave with Pete Humphries. We've got another amplifier out now. We've got the 5150. Is that Mark II?
It is indeed a Mark II.
Excellent.
It's not been modified.
Has it not?
Yeah.
My sarcasm detector's going off the scale a bit.
Yeah, I didn't fiddle with the orange because it's expensive.
Tell us about this. What's been done to this one?
So, what's been done to this one? So the first thing I did was I bought it from as a guitarist, Colin Parks.
Yes.
Plays for Devilment.
Yeah.
Amazing guitar player. Massive gear nerd. You should get him on at some point. Colin is
I'd
a
love to
legend.
get it.
He's so.
I've been listening to some of the solo album teasers
God,
he's
yeah.
been putting out.
Yeah,
sounds incredible.
Yeah. So he was getting into helixes and Kempers and Axe effects at the time, and he had one of these, and I wanted to shot on my old Marshall. Remember, I used to have a TSL.
Yes.
Because it didn't have the beef that I wanted, and we just got Nick Sampson again from Devilment and every other band on the planet apparently, because he's such a great guitarist. And I wanted something that was solely all about the big chunk rhythm sound. 5150.
5150. It's a go-to band, isn't
So
it?
the first versions and the block layers and all the ones that everyone's going to tell me I shouldn't have bought a set of a Mark II because of, they'll have a weird sort of mid-range hump I don't like. And you have to be so unbelievably accurate with EQing the mid-range and the presence and resonance to not have it there.
Right.
And then it's got to be matched to the right speaker cam, blah blah blah. And I tried, a buddy of mine had a Mark II, and it just was so much easier, like it's 2 generations ahead.
Yeah.
And the last one before, and he went to Fender, and now there's the EVHs, which I've also had. We won't talk about that. It was a painful experience. Suffice to say that Anderton's return policy is rather good. So I bought this from Colin Parks, and it just came up on my Facebook feed. That's 80 years ago.
Wow.
I've had this amp for 8 years. And he didn't know if it had ever been revalved. It was in perfect working order, and it had a foot switch and all that stuff, which I lost the lead to. But then who uses the clean channel on a 5150? And if anyone puts in the comments that they do, I want to hear your music. Because that ain't clean. That ain't clean. But I'll try and dial something in clean in a minute. You'll notice my entire channel is completely zeroed because I don't use it. So I had it revalved, and I put Golden Lion AX7s, gold pins, all 6 new preamp valves, and I put cryogenically treated, which when they freeze the valves down to take all the impurities out of the filaments and the wire that's used in. Svetlana winged C6L6, matched 4 big bastards for 120 watts of pure glass power.
Awesome.
And then I moved the logos around because I prefer the placement of them. I haven't finished modding this yet. You'll notice that there's a Harley Benton.
I was about to talk about that.
Everyone's about to go, boo, Harley Benton, they're so cheap. It's like, yeah, they're also pretty good, so I literally own some of their stuff. It's a passive attenuator, which works fine, because if I had this above 1, Pete and I wouldn't be alive in this room, and it's on 4.5.
I've not long moved in here. I want to keep this place. I don't get evicted yet.
So it's on 4, which is louder than you'd use live. Yeah, so
that's a lovely tone going out there.
Those valves are 5 years old as well now. So I'm going to put that inside here, but to help with that, I'm going to restructure the way everything works. I've got fans in there to cool the 2 really, really old. There's 2 power transformers. Thanks, brain. There are 2 transformers in there to create the power that the amplifier needs to work, and they're old. And as transformers get old, the way that they are made, the winds are encased in like a hard wax, and the wax can start to degrade, and if it gets hot, it'll either burn, it'll be too hot, or it'll melt. So I've got like little PCU, like power, cut, well, little case fans for PCs, right, and a little 9-volt plug I've got in the back, right, and it just pushes air across them. But I haven't ducted the air yet because I wanted to put the power supply in, but I only bought the power supply about 6 months ago.
Okay.
And work gets in the way, and you just sort of you get home after work, and you're like, impression car, watch some porn, Have a wank. No, and then you can't be bothered. So it'll go in there eventually. It'll sit behind this bit probably, where the fan's in the way.
So
and it'll work fine.
what's the primary use you have for this amp at the moment?
This is just because you have to over 5150. I have no. When I record, I use the Orange and another little secret amplifier I've got down there. This will make an appearance on the Season of the Witch album, which we're recording next month.
Oh, excellent.
Sorry, I haven't got any music for you yet.
Where are you going for that?
We're going to do it ourselves because we're brave, stupid, and have no money.
That's the way forward.
But we'll probably send it off to have it professionally mixed.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably use the same guys that I think God Games reused because they made their albums sound really good. Their new albums out, but it's very, very cool. So this is basically because, and I'm going to tease you a little bit here, and every other Kemper and Line 6 Helix and all these other guys, you bought them so you could have a 5150 with lots of effects and a clean channel, didn't you? Be honest. In fact, you showed me your profiles,
yes,
and it distinctly says
my live patches are based off 5150s. Absolutely, because they are a go-to amplifier. I mean, like one of my favourite bands, the Black Dahlia Murder, use them religiously, and they always have done.
You don't say. It's the other side of the shrine. It's literally this entire wall is Black Dahlia Murder posters, vinyls, and over there is all Mike Portnoy and a lot of weird stains that glow under UV light. So yeah, the 5150, like you say, it's a quintessential amplifier. It does the chugs, to quote Mr. Fluff. And I mean, Ola is all about that. Does it chug?
So much clarity through the chords in that amplifier as well. Like you play a chord and you can just hear every note that's coming through. Nothing gets muddled.
Again, it's the combination of all of the things. It's the pick up with the good separation, the nice leads, the good cab. If you were to play this with the but it is way noisier. Like the background is ridiculous.
Excellent. It's a gorgeous amplifier.
Yeah, I mean, if these days you can get an old Mark II like this, £450 to £600. I mean, even if it's just in your room for recording purposes, and you just sort of keep it under a dust cover and dig it out for a quick chug every now and again, because it does weigh 34 kilos.
Yeah,
it is not light. And see, the Orange is smaller and it weighs more, but that's just got an attenuator in it as well. But it's just, if you're into your heavy metal, be it 80s hair metal, like an Eddie Van Halen tribute or Black Dahlia Murder. I mean, it's on the Davidian album, Burn My Eyes Down by Machine Head. It's on nearly every great metal album for the last 20 years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Versions thereof, and mods thereof. My mod's just basically to extend its life. That's all it's for. All of the heating and all the cooling and that, and it's just to extend the life of it. Because they're going to eventually become collector's items that you can't buy for less than £2,000. And I'd like to have one
before that.
Yeah, that I could then sell at that kind of price later on in my life.
An investment.
This is it. There's a good question for you.
Yes.
Have you owned a piece of gear you've sold and gone, oh, I shouldn't have done that? Because I can think of two in my lifetime. Oh. And if I sold that, I would be pissed.
I mean, I was quite upset when I sold my Marshall, because I loved everything about that thing, and there was a guitarist in this room over there, that Schecter you see.
Oh yeah.
Belonged to a late friend of mine, and I actually sold it. And after he passed away, I tracked down the person I sold it to, and I bought it back.
Oh wow!
So very fortunate on that one. So, but other than that, no. I mean, when I sell a piece of gear, it's because
you're done with it.
I know I'm done with it.
Yeah.
If I don't use anything for rule of thumb for me, if I don't use anything for more than 6 months, I'll probably sell it. So.
That's a fair point. I mean, I've got guitars I haven't used in nearly a year, but I can't bring myself to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I take my medals out every now and again. I play them at home. You know, they still sound great. They're still some of the best set-up guitars that I own. I mean, my Sigrid hasn't seen any action. About once a month I'll take it out. Again, Evertune, don't need to tune it. Just take it out. Strings are all manky as fuck, but in tune.
Yeah.
Really, we're not sort of just forcing our opinion of the Evertune. It's like we use them, and they are just fucking brilliant.
They are.
Which should be Evertune. They're fucking brilliant. I don't know if they could actually. Do you reckon they'll take that on as a? Silly. Silly, so I don't work in advertising. Yeah, there's only 3 pieces of gear I ever regret. Well, one I regret let him get so bad I never used it again, which was my Jackson thing.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I stopped using it before I knew you, I think. It's an old PS3T, so if anyone wants to look about, I think it was 92 I bought that.
Wow.
And it's so used that there are actually parts of frets that actually are on the wood. They're so worn down, right? And the trim is busted to fuck, and the pickups are taken out of it, and it's just been hung on my wall for about 15 years.
Oh wow.
It's been sat there. That one, I had a 6-string Dean Edge bass in Pacific see-through blue with a cork maple top.
I think I've seen that.
Which I played live with Violation Complex.
Yes.
When I was guest bassing for them. That was not the easiest thing I've ever done. And I also bought a Fernandez, I can't remember the model name. It was like a Super Strat. I hate Super Strats, but I really wanted to try out the Sustainer.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So much fun. But it was a 7-string. It was a 7-string. It had a whammy bar, and it was an S-shaped guitar. And apart from the fact that I love the Sustainer, I just had to sell it. But that's the only other piece of gear I regret selling.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, I sort of took you on a little bit of a
no.
But yeah, it's basically I would never sell this. I mean, I could be destitute, living under a bus somewhere, but I'd have my head rested on my PB.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same with equipment that I'll never sell at the same time. I've got an ESP Eclipse over there, and I don't use it that much anymore, but I'll never get rid of that guitar, because when I do pick it up, I just fall in love with it all over again. Just every single time I pick that guitar up, I fall in love with it.
Good reason not to sell it.
Exactly.
There's not much more to say about the PB5150. Yeah. It literally just does the chugs and searing lead lines, and that's just why I like it. It's
no claims.
It's standard. It just does what it does, and it does it really nicely. And I just can't. Every time I think, oh, do I really want to play today? Yeah, and then you realise 2 hours are gone, and you're like, fuck, I'm supposed to have done like housework and like adult shit. And yeah, so that's why I'm never getting rid of it.
Okay. And you have a third amp that you wanted to bring out.
We'll do that one in a minute, hey, because it's a surprise. Even you don't know what it is.
Okay, excellent.
You're going to have to get a camera really close to it, because it's not a very big amplifier, but it is very cool. It's the one that I use with the orange.
Oh, cool. Excellent. With it. Excellent.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah. Plus, obviously, we have to turn everything on.
Okay, right. Let's talk about your bands. So,
I have 2 now?
Yeah.
Let me turn this off so we get rid of this.
So, currently, you are a founding member of Season of the Witch.
Yep.
With
the other same founding member of Zocola?
Yes. So, a couple of questions on my part. So, when was Season of the Witch an idea in your head before Zocola became a thing, or was it just...
Didn't see the Zocola coming, so...
No?
No. It's one of those things where a whole lot of different things bring about the demise of a band. People are bored. They've been doing it. Zocola have been around 14 years.
Yeah, you were on the scene for a long time.
Yeah.
Very well known.
Very badly paid. I'd had, like, all the damage in my neck had happened, which meant I had to slow everything right down, which was really annoying to me, because it was at the point where the band needed to be pushed from what we were doing to that next level up, which is the big jump.
And you couldn't quite.
And I couldn't commit, because I didn't know if I could play the gig. We'd turn up at gigs and I'd have to sit down and play, which is not cool, but I really hate cancelling on gigs. And like, I'd turn up and I'd be fine, and then the nerves in my neck would go, but you can't move your right arm now. Oh, great. So now I have to sort of massage my shoulder for like 25 minutes to just get my hand to be able to move, and then play a whole 45-minute set of Zocola songs, which were very bouncy, lively, heavy groove. And there's no way I could do the show, and it got really depressing. And I think that may have put the other guys off, but it was just when it had its time.
Yeah, and I think that's what's most important.
We've done everything.
You've got to know when something's done. You've got to.
Yeah.
See, that's probably my mistake with my last band. As you probably know, we just kind of kept dragging it on, and it's.
When it feels forced.
It was very forced.
Stop.
It was very forced. So, the inception of Season of the Witch
it was born on the evening we found out Zoco had quit.
So it was almost straight away, because obviously
I didn't want to stop.
For anyone that doesn't know who you are listening to this,
we can put a track on. He can mix one in somewhere.
Yeah, but we are. You've been in Zocola and Season of the Witch with your wife Sarah, who I also know very well. Lovely lady. Hi Sarah.
Why am I waving? I'm going to see it later.
So, what does being in a band with your wife change anything? Do you reckon? I mean, because you guys seem to have great chemistry on stage, or does that whole if the band has an argument thing, does it go home with you at all?
I work hard the same when married.
If you write a riff that she doesn't like, does that go home after?
Yeah, I sulk. I sulk a lot. What do you mean you don't like the riff? Doesn't fit with the rest of the song. But I like it. I've only ever bullied. I've only ever bullied one song into the set. I've turned the amp off now. I'll play it for you later. I'd written it because I was in a really bad place at the time. This was Season of the Witch, and I was having a really, really bad time with my brain not working properly. And I wrote this song. Actually, I've already played it. It's one that was called Scary Door.
Okay.
And it was basically about me trying to drag myself into a sort of happier place. So I tried to play a tune that had sort of all these really moody, like death metal chords in like those big 5 fret stretches and the weird like flattened fourths and things like that, which I've had to learn because when you have other guitar players, you can just go, "Can you do that?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So I can be lazy. I didn't have a structure for it, and Sarah was going, "I don't like the structure. I don't like the pacing." Blah, blah, blah. So I just kept working on it and bullying it into practices until she went, "Actually, that's pretty fucking cool."
Awesome. There's so with between like Zocalo and Season of the Witch, was there like because obviously I've seen Season of the Witch now, and like you guys are awesome, but I noticed there's like you got that concept thing going on. Was that something?
That was really accidental.
Yeah.
It wasn't purposeful. I mean, Sarah writes about what she's passionate about, and never tells me.
Right.
Well, I still couldn't sing you lines out of Zocalo songs, and I've been playing those for 12 years. Just couldn't. I listen to what she's singing, but not the content of it. So I can remember where I am in songs. And somehow with Season of the Witch, we've written six, let's say 6 songs. And if you get a bonus track, you can stop moaning. A concept album on the man's disillusionment with God. Like starting with, like one of the songs is about the Tower of Babel, where we built a tower to go and touch the face of God to say thank you for this beautiful place and the knowledge and the coolness, and God was a stroggy little bitch, kicked it down, made us all different colours and speak different languages, so we couldn't do that again. Right? Which I think it's a great fucking story.
Oh yeah.
But she's wrote this really miserable song about it, and it's great. And it's all the way from that to man crawling out of purgatory, where he's sort of like hating on himself for having caused that and got rid of paradise, and to the realisation that we are our own gods, and that's the face of technology that we have now. And it's as poncy as it sounds, but it wasn't purposeful. So I'm hoping it comes across as kind of like a really organic thought progression, rather more than just some fucking prog wankery, which I can't stand.
So when it comes to like the songwriting as well with Season of the Witch, was you trying to sort of like go with a different sound? Was that an intentional thing? Was that like, okay, right,
yeah,
this thing's finished, starting this new thing, we've got to try something different? Or
it is very hard when you've been playing what I call playing for purpose. So Zocalo had a specific big, deep southern groove sound, very sort of down Pantera, big, heavy riffs, big solos, lovely big singy choruses, that kind of stuff. And when you've been doing that for 14, 15 years, and it is the totality of my guitar playing has been for Zocalo.
Yeah. I
was a bass player before that. And the hardest thing I've ever had to do is come and write songs that are still me, so it doesn't sound like I'm forcing. Like I couldn't play your stuff, right? It takes way too much dedication and practice and knowledge of things like theory,
and a lot of
so I'm like allergic. Yeah, which I'm like actually allergic to theory, like that. So that's not supposed to go there, but it sounds nice. So fuck off. Like even Nick's occasionally I was playing, he said, "What the hell are you doing?" It just sounds nice. He's like, "Yeah, but it's weird." So to take that and to break old habits and not to just sort of go into that's how I write these songs, and having to play very different chord structures and slowly was the hardest. Slowing stuff down. Yeah. So from that bouncy diddly 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 kind of stuff down to ding, ding. It's like, this hand's going, I've been made redundant. And this hand's going, why am I doing 5 fret stretches now? And it's very different stylistically, but it is still, and this is the thing I'm quite happy about, is you can still tell that it's me playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when guitarist stories after their tone and how they sound, I'm pretty sure if you had James Hetfield play a Dimebag song, which maybe not possible anymore given the fact he's a million years old, but if he did, it'd still sound like James Hetfield playing a Pantera song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
you definitely have your own sound. Like I've been in venues, I've walked in, not seen you, and I've heard a guitar coming out, and I'm like, Pete sound checking. That's Pete all day long.
Oh, fuck that! No, that's Pete. It's too many pinch harmonics in that intro.
There's a bend of the 12th fret there.
Yeah, it's just they're just signature things that everyone does, and it's like, for example, one of my favourite guitars players is Dimebag. I love how much that guy played guitar. His tone was awful.
Oh, it was absolutely
it
awful.
Was searing, screechy, no mid-range, which is what a guitar is. It's a mid-range based instrument. But his playing was so faultless, you just got mesmerised and didn't care.
Alright, so let's talk about the underground scene as well. Like, you've been on the underground scene for a long time. You've been
not giving away my age.
You've been. Well, what was that, Jackson? You talked
Shut
about
up.
90. Do you say 92? You got that?
Yeah.
I think I was 5 years old. But talking about the underground scene, like you've done it all. You've seen everything. How's it changed like over the years for you?
Like what's killed it nearly?
Yeah.
There are some, I hate using the metal hammer thing, but there are some defenders of the faith out there. There are people who will continually wave the flag of the underground hard, high, and anywhere that they can. There's promoters in London that will still do it, people like Mick Wood from Monster Ents. The guys, and I don't care if I get backlash for this, the Metal to the Masses initiative, the Bloodstock run, it's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
It might not be ideal, and there may be faults all over the place that people don't like, but it gives underground bands a platform to play a major international festival.
I mean, that was one of the first things for me. Like when I first entered like the underground scene, I was playing guitar for years as a bedroom guitarist. I started a band with a friend, and then suddenly we knew nothing about it. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know who anyone else was. We just
you had us in our first round.
Yeah, if I
remember correctly.
So me and my friend Darren, we started a band, and then we had no idea about the underground scene. We just thought, okay, how do we get a gig? I don't know how to get a gig. And then when you find out there's all these opportunities out there, like to find out when you're a brand new guitarist or your first band about to play your first show, and you find out there's an opportunity for you to be able to play Bloodstock Festival, it inspires. It absolutely does. That pushed me to work a lot harder because there was something to aim for, there was something to go for.
And it gives you a goal.
Absolutely.
Like the temptation of being able to do that. I mean, it might be beyond an awful lot of people's abilities, and I've been a judge of Metal to the Masses as well, and there are some bands out there that are reaching, and rightly so, if you don't stretch yourself and test yourself against other people, you're never going to know how good your band are.
Absolutely.
And very quickly you see who is and isn't at a level where they can do it. But the fact that it exists is great. But rather than... So those are some positives. There are some good, really helpful, really supportive mechanisms out there and promoters. But there are a lot of absolute chancers and arseholes out there as well. People who will run pay-to-play schemes. Never pay to play a gig unless you want to play with Mastodon or Metallica and it's a $5,000 buy-on. Do that, live your dream, do it the once, and then don't do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's only if you've got that kind of money and you want to put that much investment in your band, because you're putting yourself in front of some really harsh people.
But never pay to play a small venue down your local.
But if anyone says to you, sell 25 tickets, you can have £1 per ticket, piss off. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Absolutely, I agree.
It's better to not gig than to do something.
I've been there, I've done that, and I can agree that it's just not the way to do things. Actually.
No. But the things I think that are detrimental, heavily detrimental to the underground music scene, especially here in England, because I don't have a lot of experience in, say, Europe or America, etc. But definitely here in England is three things. One, social media.
Yes.
Everyone's a fucking critic. If one person says that band's shit, no one goes to watch them.
Yep.
No point in watching them, they're crap, and it'll get around the little circle. London's very insular.
Yeah.
And bad
news spreads really quickly. I mean, like, there was a situation that, I can't remember the name of the band, not that I want to drop names, but they had a problem with our friend Alan Hicks when the way he run one of his gigs. And even though Alan has played hundreds and hundreds of bands and no one has a bad word to say about him.
One of the nicest dudes in metal.
Yeah, absolutely. But this one band had bad things to say about him, and that spread like wildfire all over social media, and that's the toxic part of it.
Hopefully that can backfire and that band will be blacklisted though. But
I believe they were.
Anyway, so social media, it is a double-edged sword. You can be your own worst enemy or your own best friend, and it's judging how that works. And then the next thing is this weird sense of entitlement to free music that, sorry about this, my generation spawned that with Napster.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for music anymore, I can go for free. What do you mean I've got to go and pay and see a band? Well, yeah, you see, because if you don't, we'll all still be listening to AC/DC in 2050, which isn't a bad thing. I like AC/DC, but you need to have progression. There's no... I'm just kind of mixing my points here. Social media has given us access to every band on the planet. And there's a thing in advertising and promotion called choice blindness. Whereas if you've got 5,000 things to do, you won't do anything because you don't want to miss out on anything else or spend money on this when that could have been better. Yeah. And it's a horrible thing. And every band's got to get past it. So you have to use social media to build the presence without being annoying, with the quality content without being overburdening of your audience. Absolutely. And then produce the goods live. So there's a lot. I would hate to be a startup band.
It's a big checklist.
Yeah. To be a startup band these days, when I did it, you'd go to the town that you were going to play in 1 week before, you'd put flyers in every single pub, you'd put posters up in the venue,
I miss flyers.
And then you'd go to the gig, and if there were 40 people there, you had fucking done it, because they'd all paid £7 to get in.
Yep.
Nowadays, you'd be lucky to get 50 quid to a free entry gig on a Saturday night.
Because it doesn't feel as personal either, because you've got all that invite. Yeah. And then you can just select everyone. It's not personal. You're not inviting someone. You're just sending numbers. It's all numbers. It's
the 10% thing where like you'll invite 1,000 people and 100 might turn up.
Exactly.
And out of that 100, you know 10 of them.
But then I see a lot of bands that rely on Facebook numbers. They'll create an event and they'll be like, "Oh, great, 73 people are coming to my show," and I'm like, "Oh, they're not."
No, you'll get 15.
Yeah.
That's how it'll work. If you get 500 people say they'll go, 150 will turn up.
Absolutely.
Because not everyone's stuff happens. People overspend the night before, which is one of my bad things. Is like I'll go out on the lash of a certain night. I'm supposed to go to my mate's gig the next day, and I haven't got any money, so I can't go. But being a musician gives me the ability to be able to see bands a lot more. So if you're friendly with bands and your interaction with the people that you play with, again, Metal to the Masses is a great exponent of that. Even if you don't progress, you've met another 40 or 50 like-minded human beings.
Absolutely.
Some of which might have liked your band, some of them might want to take you to play in a different town. Do that instead. Take it for what it is. Take the advantage for what it is. Don't sit there thinking, "Oh, we didn't win, everyone hates us." It was a fiddle, which you hear all the time. Get out there and work and show people that you're worth it.
Yeah.
Because I know that the people at Bloodstock, the initiative is run by Simon Hall. He watches bands who may not have made it, and he keeps track of them on Facebook, sees how they behave thereafter, watches their effort, watches what they're releasing, and etc. etc. And then we'll send them we'll encourage them maybe this is your year to enter again.
Yeah.
See how you can push it this time, because he's always there. He's at every single final that I know of.
Yeah, I mean he's always making sure that it's the right time for them. Yeah, because everyone wants to play the big festivals, but that might not be your time.
Well, it's like when Zoclo finally won, it was our 5th attempt.
Yeah.
It was our 5th attempt to do it. And from that 5th attempt, we'd got so good at doing what we needed to do what we needed to do, that we did 2010, then we did 2012.
And then you got invited back with your new band.
I was going to say, and then we had Nick and Rob and Sarah guesting for other bands in 13, 14, and then Zoclo were invited back in 15 to be the first live act in the VIP. Yeah. Then the first live act Electrified the year after that. And then 2018, last 2 years back, Season of the Witch on their 7th gig because of the
hard
they
work
knew who we were and they trusted us not to do anything wrong. They said, "Do you want to?" And we were like, "Okay." Yeah. I mean, if we bomb, and we're not going to get asked back. So we just went and we did it, and I think we gained 150 extra Facebook likes, which is validation even for a 40-year-old man.
Excellent.
And it is, but the scene is a horrible place to be. It's a horrible place to be, especially if you don't know anything or anyone. But it's getting to know the right people and being nice to the right people, rather than wasting your time with people who just take advantage of you to forward themselves.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And it's so hard. Well, they look like each other, which is really unfortunate. So good luck to anyone who's trying.
Awesome.
And me, because I still want to be rich and famous. Sorry.
Well,
I'll go with rich. Fame just gets you photographs.
Right, shall we... We're going to plug in one more amp.
Just for funsies.
Yeah, just for funsies, and we're going to end
This
on,
literally is just a fun thing I use for other things.
and we're going to end on this new amp. We'll see you in a second. Awesome. Alright, so tell us what we got here, Pete.
Alright, I don't think I can see it.
Oh no, there we go.
Just about here is a 5-watt smoky amplifier, which were originally developed years ago. They're literally an amplifier circuit, an input, an external speaker output, a 9-volt battery, and a small plastic speaker, which on its own sounds like shite. So if we, this is probably going to pick this up. So if we take that off, so it's not running the cabinet, it's just running itself. But it's basically like so it sounds, let's be honest, rubbish.
Oh yeah.
But
Sounds
they do run.
Sounds like a toy.
They do. Well, it is essentially. But they will run a 4x12. I've had them running 4x12s, but I use this when I want that old, so nice sort of modern-ish game from the Orange. But I want to have like an old, better. But I want like an older, sort of fuzzy, broken up power stage amp. Use this. Because it's being pushed with a gigantic humbucker, it sounds different to the other one with the single coil, which, if you give us a second. Back in the room.
We're back after a little tuning malfunction.
Doesn't happen with Evertune. So yeah, so it does get a little bit. It's not as much push.
No.
Because this is, I think it pushes out, for a single coil, it pushes out 12k.
That's
right. That's 18k, the Duncan Invader, but this does about 12k.
Yeah, it's still,
my
that's still good for a single coil.
It's just amazing for a single coil, but yeah, when you've got that. That sort of big old, like it's a thrashed sort of valve out, so old tube fuck speakers in it. It sounds really loose. It's like the complete antithesis of what you want to sound like. There's no tube screamers tightening up the low end. I love that flobby.
I could sit there and listen to that all day.
Uncontrollable. It gives that lovely sort of 70s fuzzed out.
Oh, absolutely.
So
hard not to bang my head when you're riffing.
That's very sweet of you to say. Don't give yourself a neck injury like mine. So yeah, it's kind of a joke that I played on Pete. I thought he was going to get something cool. What the fuck is reflecting? That's really annoying. No, it's just the sun. It's a rarity in Britain. I do, in all seriousness though, I have used that on a Zocalo record.
Oh, awesome.
I used that, God, can I remember
Which release did you use that on?
that was on the Mortals EP. It was called Lion Speak, but I can't remember how to play it because it's so old. I can't remember how to play it, so rather than embarrass myself further by not remembering a song I wrote. See, when you've written as many songs as me, it's really hard
to remember all those notes.
I did an album with Ferrell. I learned a bunch of the Violation Complex songs, so I could play with them. I think the last count was 75 Zocalo songs I'd written.
Wow.
By the time we'd finished, I think it was 75. That's not including riffs I've written and thrown away and just shit that you've got on your computer. And for Season of the Witch, we've got 9 completed songs, which came from about 90 odd riffs. So I'd written like 90 odd riffs, and it was like no, yes, that fits with this, no. And this is mostly Sarah like punishing me for writing stuff that still sounded too much like Zocalo did. So, no, not that one. No, this one sounds too much like that. That sounds like shit. That's in the wrong fucking key. Stop chugging away on the open A all the time. Who doesn't like chugs? I'm old. But I've genuinely used that on Lion Speak by Zocalo. I've used it in the backing of another song, I can't remember the name of though. And I'm going to be using it as like a filler channel. So like your right and left guitars panned. And then I've got like a second one with a different amplifier, so the Windsor probably. Yeah. And then on certain songs, that will be being used as well. Because I just love the flabbiness of it. It is it's so against everything people are looking for. Like, I mean, probably make Olus do a somersault of hatred because it is so flabby and uncontrolled, and it's not nice and precise, and you can't get decent staccato picking out of it because it would just flub every note. Because it's 5 watts and this is a 200 watt cab, so it's not controlling the speakers. They're just going, but it's so much fun and it adds such a lot of character to certain parts of what I like to do that I like it. And it was brought to me by a very good friend of mine. Again, he passed away. 8 years ago maybe now. And he bought it for me as like almost a joke present, and didn't think I was going to take any of it seriously.
Joked on him.
And I must have changed the battery in it about 9 times. I love it. It runs off a 9-volt battery.
Excellent.
This tiny little thing. And it's a shame that it's bright orange because it is ghastly. Seeing as everything I use now is orange or gold or coloured dyes, who am I to start complaining about?
You're going to be using that live?
I don't even think it would register live. I know it says on the card, on the spec sheets, that within 2 feet it should be producing around 90 decibels, which is enough to hopefully people at home to have heard. But it's a little talking piece. It does have a use, but it's not a serious piece of gear by a long shot. It'd be nice to be able to get that. If you could get that turned into some sort of pedal, where you could stomp it on and off or in and out on a clean channel, that'd be kind of cool. But I think with the Rat and the Muff, I've pretty much got those covered anyway. But it is very good fun, and it really freaked, like the last engineer said, how the fuck am I supposed to mic this thing up? So we did it on a drum stool, perfectly flat drum stool, like gaffer taped it to the seat, and then put the little like SM58 directly above the cone, maybe about 1/8 of an inch away from it, awesome, to get anything that would register enough. And it was used for 15-20 seconds of the intro part of the riff. And everyone who bought the album said, what the hell is that sound? And so that's it.
And that's the answer.
You've got to have those little things. It's like when you walk out with a Telecaster and you're playing like drop A stoner Desert Doom style stuff. And what the fuck are you using a Telecaster for? Where's the SG, right? Here's a tip if you want to be good as a guitar player. Not good as a guitar player, let me rephrase that, because I'm not a good guitar player. I should not be used as a role model. There's too many bad things. If you want to be an individual in the music industry, find something that makes you. That's not necessarily entirely unique, because that makes things very strange sometimes. I've seen people gargling jars of maggots whilst reciting poetry to death metal. As fun as that is the first time, it's only that time.
It gets old quick.
This is it. It's the same with a lot of comedy bands that are out there. For the first 4 or 5 watches, they're great fun, and then it's like, now I don't care, because I've heard the jokes 10 times now, and it's like,
right.
You know what I mean? There are some who still get away with it, and good luck to them, but it's not something I can see myself doing. But I mean, this is comedy, this is ridiculous, this is a complete poke in the eye of the seriousness of heavy metal.
Absolutely.
Right, I have always hated, I know that's a very strong word to use, but people who say that heavy metal is a religion. No, it's not.
No, Absolutely not.
It is not a uniform. It is not a badge of honour. What it is a collective of people who don't fit in. Right? We are a group of human beings who like really, really weird, horrible, aggressive, dark, moody, explosive, ridiculous music, which is hyper masculine for 95% of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's all big dudes covered in tattoos and leather and stuff, and it's like, you know, you could make you could extrapolate some really bad parts from that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what you look like or whatever. Just be you.
Yourself. Be yourself.
But if you come up to me and say, "Hey man, metal's a religion," I will go, "No, fuck off." Seriously, just don't. I don't pray to metal. I don't sort of like worship at the altar of Dime or Ione or any of the other greats. I just love being part of this weird, strange community of freaks and nutters.
Yeah, I mean, I think just being true to yourself, even if being true to yourself is conforming, if you're comfortable like it. I mean, I dress up for shows.
We dress up and putting on the clean contacts.
Yeah, yeah, but it's stuff like that because I don't go out there wanting a look. I just go out there how I want to look on stage. I want to give off something, and my look is very cliche, but
I've actually recently taken a very conscious decision to stop wearing as much black.
Okay.
Because when you go, hence the grey camo and the bright purple Boscolo t-shirt. Who, if you haven't listened to them, please do. They're awesome. Because you go everywhere and you can spot the metalheads. But I'll turn up in a bright yellow corrosion conformity t-shirt with some cut-off fucking, you know, baggy shorts from like the 90s and whatnot. I look more like an old fat skateboarder, which is what I am.
I think a lot more modern bands are trying to sort of break that clique as well by releasing them sort of brightly coloured shirts and stuff. I mean, there's a band called Arcdown who've got a pink shirt on their web store.
Why the hell not?
And I love it.
And that really cool death metal one with rainbows and the unicorn.
Yes, I've seen that.
Heavy metal's supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be fun. Stop taking
for the longest time, it got too serious for a long time. So
yeah,
now,
and with the generation like the 90s, like late 90s, mid to late 90s into the early 2000s, everyone was taking everything super seriously.
It's time
and
to
it's
have
like,
fun.
stop it. Just stop it.
Right.
We all still look like we did when we were 15 years of age. None of us are fucking grown up. And a lot of us still live in our mum's basement. Not me. I live with my wife.
You live in your wife's basement.
Because I'm not allowed to live anywhere else.
Alright, anyway, we're going to end it there. I think that's all we've got time for today. I'd like to thank Pete Humphries for being my first guest. He's been an absolute pleasure to have on. Done most of the talking for me.
Glad you said have on rather than just a pleasure to have. That was made a really awkward sentence.
Do you want to plug anything? Any social medias or any upcoming shows you have?
Yeah, if you search for Season of the Witch Band UK, you will find us on Instagram and Facebook. We have not released any music as yet. You can watch some live shows on the Riff Monkey YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel, which is just various crap. I don't take it that seriously. It's just something for people to look at. But we are recording our debut concept album this February, March, which will be released between May until September. One song a month.
Excellent.
And then when we've released the last song,
like
you can then buy hard copies, etc., etc.
I like that format. Okay, excellent. If anyone wants to check out my band on social medias, you can find us, or you can see us next week in Birmingham at Hard Rock Hell. And
even if you mentioned they were called Charybdis.
So you can catch my band Charybdis next week at Hard Rock Hell in Birmingham, and the following day on the 16th of February at the Dome in Tufnell Park supporting Evil Scarecrow. I'd like to thank our associates Solar Guitars and Evertune for their cooperation and support in this podcast. And just a big thank you to anyone tuning in and listening wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing. I don't care if you're sitting on the toilet, if you're on a plane. Thank you so much for listening. That's all we've got time for. I'm your host, Pete Rogers, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. So take care.
Bye.